And now for a slight diversion away from programming and into the architecture of the app itself. We want our sample app, My World, to include an ad banner. The ad banner has to be integrated with the main view, so we need to plan ahead and learn something about ad banners. You see, free apps can still generate revenue, and to put your free app to work, you need to monetize the app with advertisements. The iAd advertising platform from Apple provides the opportunity to generate revenue from your app by including an ad banner. Apple sells the advertising and delivers it to your app. To include iAds in your app, you must first join the iAd network. This is the iAd network page, which is developer.apple.com/iAd. You log in here with your developer ID. Of course, you have to be a member of the iOS developer program first. So the iAd network offers you a source of revenue. Apple sells and serves the ads that appear in your app, and you receive 60% of the advertising revenue generated. You can also exclude ads from competitors or other unwanted developers or advertisers based on specific keywords, URLs, and application IDs. Lots of major brands have already started advertising through the iAd network. It provides an automated ad exchange for you to easily incorporate iAd-rich media ads from advertisers into your app and monitor their performance and track their revenue. For advertisers, Apple provides the iAd Producer app, which makes it easy to create high-impact, interactive, rich media ads by automatically managing the code behind it, which is HTML5, CSS3, and JavaScript. So these ads could appear in your app simply by including some code in your app, a banner, and, of course, joining the iAd network. Advertising exchanges like the iAd network act as online marketplaces for buying and selling impressions. Developers can earn income by renting space in their apps, which is also known as inventory. It's kind of an auction for advertisers, ad networks, and agencies. They can maximize their click-through rates, or tap-through rates in this case, by bidding on precisely targeted audience segments. Thus, the more you know about your own customers, the more ads you can get for your app that are precisely targeted for more taps, and therefore more income. As I mentioned, to deploy iAds in your app, you first have to join the iAd network by logging into iTunes Connect. You can click through the Developer Advertising Services Agreement in the Contracts, Tax, and Banking here in iTunes Connect. If you don't already publish a paid app in the App Store, you are asked to set up your banking and tax information. You can then go to the Manage Your Applications section to enable your app for iAd-rich media ads and set up your preferences in the iAd network. Preferences would include whether or not you can exclude competitors or advertisers based on keywords, URLs, and application IDs. iAd network ads are launched when a user taps a dedicated section within your app. The iAd programming guide, which is available from the iOS Dev Center here, describes how to dedicate a portion of your screen to display an ad and change the banner size and orientation, and how your app should respond when a banner ad is touched. The iAd framework reference provides a list of tasks, methods, and protocols to use when developing your app to deliver iAd media ads. As you can see, the documentation is quite thorough about how to respond to banner events, how to deal with full screen advertisements, and so on. Now here's an important point, and the reason why we're bringing this up now before we've created our main view. Any user interface screen that includes a banner view must be managed by a view controller. That's a class that subclasses UI view controller. Our main view controller is exactly that, a subclass of UI view controller. But we're going to be creating a banner view with this add banner view class. It's going to let us dedicate a portion of the app's user interface screen to display a banner ad. The banner view automatically downloads new ads, and the user can tap a visible banner ad to interact with it. What's important to realize here is that if your app is in a certain state that you want to save before the ad is called, your app needs to pause itself while the user interacts with the ad. Typically, after the user taps a banner, the ad covers the entire screen, and while your app continues to run, the user can't see or interact with it. So if you are running a game, you should save the state of the game when the banner is tapped. And after the user finishes interacting with the ad, control returns to your app. So although your app should pause, it continues to receive events while the user interacts with the ad. So if your app receives an event that requires the user's immediate attention, Your app can programmatically cancel the ad to restore its user interface, although this is way too technical for this, especially for our sample app. Remember, however, that programmatically canceling ads frequently can reduce the income you receive from showing ads, as well as the inventory of ads that are made available to your app. Now, one of the things we have to do to use an iAd banner is to use the iAd framework, and we're going to have to add that to our sample app, My World. So, in order to use the iAd framework, we actually have to add the framework to our project, the My World sample app, because in our frameworks folder, it's not there. So this is something we need to add. So in order to add this, first we select the project itself, which is the very top, as I have already done. Next, we select the target, which is in the targets column here, which is My World. Then we select the Build Phases pane of the project, and we open up the section called Link Binary with Libraries. At the moment, we have 3 frameworks linked in with our project. The UIKit framework, which we use extensively, as you've learned so far, the Foundation framework, and the Core Graphics framework. Now, we are going to add one more framework. We click the plus button. Here we have a list of frameworks. We can scroll this list until we find the ones we need. In this case, it's iAd framework, and click Add. Well, it's as simple as that. We now have the iAd framework here in our project navigator, and select it and drag it down to the frameworks folder so that it's listed with the other frameworks. The framework is now added to the frameworks group. Soon we're going to write some code that uses this framework to place the iAd banner in the view. The banner view must be managed by a view controller, which must be a class that subclasses UI view controller. And of course, we have that in our main view controller right here. In this view controller, we're going to allow a triggered action to cover the screen. When a banner view is visible, it'll be part of a view hierarchy that is attached to the view property of this view controller.